Anything that, I mean, if there's a challenge involved or someone to be beat or something like that, I do love that. That's what drives me, I guess.
How much to rent the car for a night? And the light bulb went off, and now we're on car number 2, looking at car number 3, and the rest is history, as they say.
Cody Erickson learned to drive working on the farm. Racing got in his blood at a young age, and now he's working towards being a contender in his number 1X Modified.
I started, I guess when I was real young, I got a four-wheeler and just drove that thing constantly all day long. Started four-wheeler racing when I was about 12, 13. My dad, he doesn't really like racing a whole lot because it's farming time in the summer, but just kind of got it in my blood when I was younger and he evolved into this. There was a group of guys that would go every week. They were probably 16. I was maybe 10, 12 at the time, and we'd go to Buffalo River and watch the races almost every Sunday. And I just wanted to put a car together really bad. A buddy of mine, he was a senior in high school and I was 13. We put a car together and went and started racing road hogs, and kind of snuck in there, and they didn't ask me the age. I just said I was 15 and didn't tell my mom or dad, I don't think. I just went with a buddy and we put the car together. So ran that 2 years, jumped into a mini stock the following year. Ran it maybe 6-8 races and then bought a Mod 4 and just been running a Mod 4 and modified, I guess, the last 6-7 years. So had a lot of fun with it. When I started racing four-wheelers, I started with the number 911 right away, and I kind of changed that after the events of 9/11 because I didn't feel like I should be, having that on the four-wheeler. Maybe it was bad luck or something like that. And it's right when I started racing the road hog where we were running late, just got the car painted, trying to come up with a number to get there. Didn't feel like throwing duct tape on it at the time. And I was on the cell phone, and I don't know, on most phones they had the little 1X right in the top corner of it, and I said, yep, perfect, throw it on there, let's go. So I guess I kind of got it from a cell phone, as dumb as it sounds, and just stuck with it. When I was younger, I was just there for the fun of it. Jump in the car, and it was just such an adrenaline rush that I just loved it every night. If I was a 10th place car, I'd get out smiling, and it was absolute blast. But I don't know, I think I'm just addicted to the adrenaline and the challenge, and the competitiveness, I guess you could say, on the track is just, you get to the point where you don't care. You just want to be one of those cars that's up front, which we're not a lot in the modified class, but it's something that we're shooting towards. The most memorable, I guess I'd have to say almost season, was just the first year that I built my own Mod 4 from the ground up, the frame and everything. It, for some reason, worked really good at Glendon, and that car, we started last with it 2 weeks in a row, and we ended up winning the thing. So it was just fun to come from 22nd or 24th to win the race, and it was like, I don't know, it was a good feeling to know that I built something that was that competitive. Jumped the fence, the guardrail in Ada 2 years ago. It wasn't as scary as I thought. I kind of always have wanted to roll a car just to get it over with. I don't know, I think I was driving with a little anger at the time, and I got a call called on me that I didn't agree with, and lined up on the back stretch, maybe left 8-10 car lengths, and I just stood on it before they even got into turn 3, so I had all the momentum coming. And I was right on the high side, and what happened is I just hooked tires with someone, but went past probably 7 cars before I tagged one of them, and it launched me right on the front end and went over the guardrail in Ada there. And the flag stand guys said that they could see daylight under the car, and it went down off the bank another 10 feet. So it was probably a 30, 40-foot drop to where it ended up landing, but landed in the parking lot against a Suburban, and I don't know. It was fine. I didn't get hurt, thank God. The only thought was it was my first car I'd ever built. And I remember after the launch and looking down, all I saw was the grass. And I'm like, I hope my seatbelt mounts in this thing are strong enough. I do remember that. That's all I remember before I hit the ground. In Lisbon, rolled the tire off the bead and hit the wall. And I thought I was fine at the time. Went home that night and I had seatbelt bruises. Just took some medicine, went to bed, and I don't remember it, but my mom hauled me in at 8 in the morning because I had no idea where I was. Just had a really bad concussion. Came out of it at 2 in the afternoon and was wondering what I was doing sitting in the hospital. And the weekend comes and it's kind of what you're looking forward to after a while, just to get out and jump back in the car and do something different again.
The Racing Life is sponsored by Dakota Cat, Norman County Raceway, Superior Builders, Valley Alignment and Repair, Northland and Harry's Towing, Erickson Farms and T&E Chassis by Cody Erickson.
If there's a challenge involved or someone to be beat or something like that, I do love that. That's what drives me, I guess you could say.
All the work that Cody and his pit crew have put into his modified paid off one night at Norman County Raceway in Ada, Minnesota, when Cody captured the win.
The pit crew, it started kind of just me right away. I remember changing gears up here by myself before school to go race in Ada and whatnot, and I can't remember, it's probably been 8 years now. Yeah, it's close to 7, 8 years ago. Casey Chounard, one of my cousins from Ulen, came out, and we've had people come and help us, and I've had a lot of help. My friends have really stepped in when I need them. It's one of those deals I can call them. They'll go pick up parts. They'll be here to help work on it. I know Josh Solon and like Troy Amundsen and all those guys. They're just good buddies that if you need help, they'll be there. But I guess all in all, Casey and I, we've stuck together the last 8 years, and that's just kind of how it worked.
He'll usually be in the field in the tractor, and I'll come out here and scale the car, wash it up, and go through everything, fix what needs to be fixed, whether it be tin work or change gears or different control arms. It's just get the stuff done and get ready to race.
90% of the days, if I'm in the field, I won't see the car until I get here at 5 o'clock. It's loaded on the trailer. I mean, it's ready. He has it scaled out and ready to go. So otherwise, I probably wouldn't race much at all in the spring or fall if it wasn't for him. But yeah, other than racing, it's a sacrifice for a lot of stuff, but it's kind of part of your life after a while. You just want it more than anything else.
You do so much work to the cars. You work all winter, every day to try and get the things ready for the summer. And some people ask you why you do it, but it's all worth it when you see the car out there doing good.
Racing keeps me going, I guess. I mean, there's many nights, like in the spring when we're planting, we'll try to run 24 hours or, around the clock, and you'll get stuck in a tractor for 18 to 20-hour days. And then the weekend comes and it's kind of what you're looking forward to after a while, just to get out and jump back in the car and do something different again. It was really hard when I first started because I didn't have the help. I didn't have a brother or a dad or something that wanted, that was into it or has been into it. So it was a learning curve. I mean, and I didn't like asking questions because I was 15 and probably more intimidated, with all the other guys. Didn't want to get in their way and didn't want to sound stupid. But just learning all the stuff myself, it's so nice to know because now that we're building the cars and everything, it's just a good feeling from where it's came the last 10 years.
It's like I say, Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder, when he comes and you just throw your bag down, I supply the helmets, the tear-offs, the suit, the neck braces. We have multiple sizes, and they get out. And if it's dented, it's, Rubbin's Racing Harry kind of deal. They just walk away and we fix it up and go again next week.
The Racing Life is sponsored by Performance Auto, Randall's Excavating, Nugget Vending, KRJB and KRJM, Elite Therapeutic Massage and Specialty Makeup, Peterson Insurance. The Racing Life's Fan Pictures of the Week is sponsored by Superior Builders, specializing in post-frame building.
Ken Schrader, and we're up here in Minnesota racing, but I got a question for the go-kart racers, the young go-kart racers. What is it you really like about it the most? Is it that you get to go that fast? Is it sitting down low into the ground and get to go that fast? Or just that you get to drive at all? Or is it just the competition? I just want to know what it is.
Hi, my name is Crist Pittenger, and I like to race go-karts because of the competition, the racing, and I ran nationals and I got second place, and that's just the way I like about racing.
All it takes is that first step on the gas, and then yep, now I know where I'm at. Sure.
Derek Pollock of Winnipeg, Manitoba has held several different roles throughout his racing career. Not to mention, in 2004, he won the NOPA Pure Stock National Championship. Derek's most recent racing project gives fans a unique opportunity to be a race car driver for a night.
I would say this is year number 14. I've kind of done it all, from a pit crew to racing enduros, pure stocks, street stocks, super stocks. I was a promoter at Red River Co-op Speedway for a year, and now into the rental business. They say sometimes you back into things, and this was a fortunate thing. I talked to a fellow who was selling a car, unfortunately through a divorce. It was a fire sale, as you call it, and I wasn't looking for a car. He said, hey, take it off my hands for what I paid for it. He bought it from an auction, I did, and next thing you know, I bought it for my daughter to maybe race. She was 14, came from go-kart racing, and my crew guys, to show my appreciation for them helping me out week after week. Started building it, brought it to the track, had one fellow from the pit beside me, said, hey, I've always wanted to race a car, my driver won't let me, how much to rent the car for a night? And the light bulb went off, and now we're on car number 2, looking at car number 3, and the rest is history, as they say. A lot of the renters have asked me, what kind of qualifications do you have to have? And basically, if you know what the flags mean and you've watched a race before, you don't even have to watch a race, you can go racing. The rules in WISSOTA are very easy for the entry-level class, the street stocks, is you have to be a minimum age of 14, and I've had 2 14-year-old people drive it. Not that I'm looking for the younger ones, but they were family members and a big 14-year-old who's been racing mods for 2 years. But basically, it's all the safety equipment supplied, the receiver, the transponder. The cars are built very solid, very well. That's the biggest factor, is safety. I have a lot of sponsors that sponsor the car, which also get to race it when they sponsor it. And I'm having CEOs of companies such as MacDon and that race the car, and I want that to be safe, because they're not in it for the thrill. They're in it, you know, for a one-time stand, as we say, and then they go back to running their big corporation the next week. So safety is the biggest factor. But yeah, as long as, you know, some renters, have some natural talent, have maybe raced before or sort of come up from go-kart racing. Then there's some renters that don't even know they're racing until an hour before the race because it's a surprise from their wife or their family members, and they're just out there butterflies and just on the bottom of the track having fun. So as long as it's safe for everybody, the competitors on the track and also for themselves, then it's a successful night. It's like I say, Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder, when he comes and you just throw your bag down, I supply the helmets, the tear-offs, the suit, the neck braces. We have multiple sizes, and they get out. And if it's dented, it's, you know, Robin's racing Harry kind of deal. They just walk away and we fix it up and go again next week. At the beginning of the year, it was kind of like, hey Derek, all the renters have to start at the tail end of the field, and I says, that's my choice as well, because I don't want to put a raw rookie on the pole and have the champions coming behind him and rubbing them, getting them out of shape on the first lap. So what we're doing is the tracks have been really growing into this because it has brought new people to the sport. We've actually had 5 renters now that own their own cars and have bought their cars. So the tracks are seeing a little bit of the benefit as well. They also bring a lot of new fans. I think when Scott rented it out in Fergus, we had at least 20, 25 people that were at the track, all wearing their Happy Birthday Scott shirts, and it was a great deal. So they're seeing some new fans, some new blood, and I mean, in the economic times we're having right now, that's not a bad thing. I call it the bucket list experience. And for the people that have been sitting in the stands watching it for 15, 20 years, I've always wanted to try it. Well, here's a perfect opportunity. For the racer who's maybe thinking of getting into the sport, that wants to maybe try it to see if it's really what they want, if it's not going to scare them, a great way to test it out so that, for a cheap experience, cost-effective experience, basically it's I want to get a car, I'm into it, so it's a win-win both ways. And, for a lot of people, it's more of a, like I say, a bucket list experience, and the reactions have been incredible. The smiles, as I say, the full face smiles, the helmet sometimes isn't big enough. Some of their heads sometimes get a little bit bigger, but hey, as long as they're into the sport and they want to do it again, or maybe get into a car themselves and buy it, you can't go wrong with that. I've had so many people that have rented it one time and they're booking. I've had one fellow that rented it 1 week. He rented it the next 3 weeks in a row. So a month he rented it. I have people that have already reserved and booked for next year. I have referrals of their friends and family and their coworkers that now are booking it for next year. So that's why we're looking at a third car as well. But for people that think that it's easy sitting in the stands and then actually sitting in the seat and feeling the track and feeling the bumps and the mud on their face and the helmets and the tear-offs, it's a whole different experience. Yes, it's an entry-level class and we're maybe doing 65, 75 miles an hour. It's such a rush. It's a lot of time, but it's when it doesn't feel like work and it's like you have a passion for it, it's just something you do and you don't think about it.
The Racing Life is sponsored by Bad Cats Design and Print Solutions, Dakota Engine Builders, Red River Kart Club, Fargo Rental, Midwest Motorsports Weekly, RentalRaceCar.com. Here is the Racing Life's question of the week.
Hey Ryan, my name is Cody Erickson, driver of the 1X Modified. Your question today was, how do you make the car ride a wheelie with the left front? And usually we try to keep the tire as close to the ground as possible. It seems to be faster for us. Dustin Strand figured something else out. Thanks for the question.
Scott Samuelson of Fergus Falls, Minnesota, enjoyed his night in the rental race car at I-94 Speedway so much, he decided to do it again the night we followed Derek at Red River Valley Speedway.
I talked to Derek and he made it so easy to figure everything out, where we're going to go. He's going to have everything ready to go. He's going to meet us here. It's going to be, you know, everything just click, 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 and it's painless, absolutely painless. Don't sit on the sidelines. It's go ahead and try it, jump in. I mean, what do you got to wait for? You're going to get slapped with reality of it's different than what you think, but you'll come out of it and go, it was one of the funnest things I've ever done. I have a friend who, when I first told that I was going to do this, and we've been friends since we were yay big, and he came over to Fergus to watch, and he said, how much is it? You know what? Why don't we rent it every week? Because you don't have maintenance. You just pay the man, he brings it there, you drive it, he goes home with it. See you next week.
This year, it's been a lot of late nights for myself. My wife started out early in the year. She wanted to learn a lot about the cars, and then she saw how much work's really involved. And I tell you, when you race it 3-4 nights a week, you have to work on it 3 or 4 nights a week as well. So with owning 3 cars and racing one myself, I also have my pit crew, my dad, my brother, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and without those guys, Jeff is down here with me tonight, so I get a few guys that will travel with me on nights that my other family members can't make it. But it's a lot of work. It's almost a full-time business. You know, they say for every lap that you turn out there, it's about 10-15 minutes in maintenance work. But these street stocks are not as bad, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Tires and changing oils and just checking over the nuts and bolts of it. It's a lot of time. But it's when it doesn't feel like work and you have a passion for it, it's just something you do and you don't think about it. The first night my daughter drove it, she was 14, and just to watch her out there, and I thought she'd be a little nervous. She's a tiny little thing. We have an adjustable seat, so there's no matter if I have someone that's 6'6" or someone that's 4'6", the seat adjusts for them. And she was out there and she was rubbing doors with the other ladies. It was a mechanics powder puff race, and I tell you, to see her out there, I've never been so nervous, but never been so proud. So that was probably my biggest moment. One other moment, I guess, we had both cars racing in the same heat one time, both rental cars. And of course, the worst thing happened. They both collided into each other, and yeah, one tire down here, one tire down there. That's part of racing, I guess. But you know, and again, it's to be treated as with some respect. The renters generally aren't going to win. It's more of an experience for them to see if they like it. So I don't want people really going in hard and rubbing up with other competitors, because I don't want a bad reputation on these cars, which we've done really good so far. And you know, to be honest, they're not going to win. It's just they don't have the seat time and the experience. But if they're competitive, I've had some renters finish as high as 3rd, and I've had some renters that, Scott here, that made the King of the Dirt, made the feature, and finished 15th, past 9 cars. So, you know, you have some talent or you don't. And there's some people that are just on the bottom that are just putting around. But again, the biggest people that have rented this or that have called have been the women calling for their husbands or sons or family members as an anniversary, a birthday gift, and it's been a surprise. Sometimes they don't tell them until they're an hour at the track, which I don't recommend, because we have to get our head right, you know, into the sport and into the seat, so they get the butterflies. But I tell you, they've been so appreciative of the gift. It's the gift that you just don't know what to get for someone. It's a perfect idea.
Well, it's either put your nose in there or sit back and watch everybody else do it. So when the green flag goes, if you got an opportunity, you got to take it.
The fun thing about it is that, you know, they say racing's a big family, and it's true. It is a big family. And the friends he has made and all the kids, I mean, they all play together and they're all excited to see one another. And I mean, that's the excitement about it.
And I don't know why, but when I'm in the US, I notice I say the word A 20%, 30% more than I ever say it back home. And I keep hitting myself, you know, typical Canadian.
Probably
Probably
be
be all
like
right.
a one-night stand, isn't it?
Yeah, no guilt.
there's no guilt. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, that just came to my mind. Why did you cut your hair off?
Did we win, or I can't remember. It's coming back, I think. I think 90% of the reason I had my hair was because working with my dad every day, and he absolutely hated it. It was just kind of one of them things I'd do to get on his nerves and just let it go. And it was fun to get out of the car and just pull your helmet off and you look like just a clown out there. I mean, that's whatever. It's kind of who I am. I really don't care. what anyone thinks of it. So fun to be different.